Morning, everybody. Welcome to VBS Monumental. I don't know about you, but I am super excited to be back full on with over 500 people this year. We've got 300 participants, like we did pre-COVID. We've got 200 and I think 206 middle school and high school volunteers, and we've got another 20 or so, 20 plus adult volunteers as well. Amazing. You guys are awesome. Thanks for being here this Saturday morning. Although with the weather outside, I don't know what else you would be doing except maybe still sleeping. So thanks for that. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making the shift to a virtual meeting this morning. And I'm glad to see all of you. At least I see some faces, but I see tons of names and names that I've been praying over for the last couple months as we've been putting people together in crews and groups and areas where you're going to be helping serve. And even though we feel like we've got a good place where we're all at, let me tell you, there's a ton of changes that are still going to happen between now and Monday the 13th. So as we go through today, my plan is to talk for 25 minutes. All right. So I like meetings that are short, succinct, get everything we need to get done and share all that. But I also want to answer all your questions. So in the chat, if you have any questions as I'm talking this morning, just throw them in the chat. And when I'm done, we'll go through the Q&A in the chat and make sure we've got all of our questions answered. Okay. All right. Also, the other thing that I'm going to do is any document that I am going to go off of today, share with you today, I will also, excuse me, I will also email out to you after the meeting is over with a copy of this recording as well. So, all right, I think that's all I needed to share for that. And let's start with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this group. Thank you for the 300 participants, Lord, who are going to be a part of VBS Monumental at St. Paul. Lord, I ask that you would use each one of us to be your hands and feet to those kids, your voice to those kids, so that they might hear how much you love them, how amazing your power and love and grace is for them during this week coming up. Give us strength, give us patience, help us to make the right decisions and choices along the way, and just give us the energy, Lord, to share your love in an awesome way at VBS Monumental this year. We ask this all in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, so I want to share with you the first document, which is our meeting agenda for the day. And so this one here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through our expectations for all volunteers. And then we're going to talk through the schedule, very similar to past schedules. So if you've been a part of VBS at St. Paul, whether a participant or volunteer, you'll understand, and it'll make a lot of sense. It'll be very similar. And then going through a few big basics, the map of the layout, which will be different a little bit from last year because we are going to be inside the sanctuary for opening and closing. And then the times on here, I love the times. These are from last year's meeting. So we'll not be here till 1:40. But we'll be here till maybe 10:40, depending on how our questions are going. All right, so the first thing I want to share with you is kind of the expectations of all volunteers that we have at St. Paul and at Monumental this year. And so here, just I'm going to fly through these as best as possible. And first thing is we want to make sure that we're keeping our kids safe. And so a few things that we've learned over the years to make sure that happens is we don't give rides to kids. It seems like that would be super fun, but no piggyback rides, no kids on shoulders, however that works, just because by not doing that, it minimizes the risk of getting hurt, injured, however that might be. So please avoid that. And if I know the kids are gonna be like, oh, we want to climb on you, we want to get a ride. Just I can be the mean guy. Jeremy said I can't. I'm sorry. All right, so it's all good. You can always use my name if you need me to be the mean guy. Totally cool with that. We want to make sure that sick or hurt kids get to the office for help. We do have some amazing support. Claire is going to be back helping again as our kind of our campus nurse for the week. But we also have some other help that's helping her in the office. If there's somebody that's sick or hurt, just get them to the office for help. And when you do that, make sure that your crew directors know. So if you're a crew leader or an assistant crew leader, or even if you're working in one of the stations and you're helping get a child to the office because they're sick or they're hurt, make sure you let an adult crew leader know. The adult crew or adult crew directors. The adult crew directors are going to be the adults that have the same color shirts as the kids on that have on. So if the blue crew kid that's going to the office, find one of the adults in a blue shirt. They're going to be one of the crew directors. That way they know, and if they need to help, they can. Especially when you're outside in the games area, it's going to be tempting to say, hey, let's turn this into a water game because it's super hot outside. Don't throw cups of water on kids. It seems like it would be super fun, and it probably would be super fun for a few minutes until everybody's completely soaked, and then you have to go back inside to the air conditioning all wet and spend the rest of the morning wet. The kids don't have extra clothes, so discourage that from happening. Don't instigate that. I know some of you are going to have the opportunity to completely drench some of the kids in your group, and you're going to want to do that. Please don't. Okay. Remind volunteers, participants to wear masks, wash hands. So we don't have to wear masks this year. Those are optional, but there are some kids, some participants who might come with the mask and their parents want them to wear them. And we want to honor and respect that. Maybe some of your parents are saying, while you're there, I want you to wear a mask. Please honor and respect that. So if you know some of those kids, make sure that they don't feel uncomfortable choosing to wear a mask. That's a cool option that they can have, and they have that right, and they should not be made fun of or ridiculed. But do what you can to help remind them if they're supposed to be wearing them, if they've been asked to wear them, or your parents have asked, that you honor that and continue to do that. We'll have hand sanitizer around as well to do that. Keep ourselves as clean as possible. COVID is still around and a thing. It may not be as talked about as much or as brutal of something that you can go through, but it's still a thing. We want to try to minimize the spread of that. Because we want everybody to be there and be able to participate. So again, honor those requests. When it comes to COVID policy this year, it's kind of an optional thing. You don't have to wear a mask if you don't want to. It's your choice. You don't have to be vaccinated. That is also your choice. So those people who do choose that, please honor, respect that, and don't make them feel uncomfortable because of that. Remember that you are here as a volunteer to help participate with the kids, to serve the kids. The VBS is for the 300 participants who are coming. VBS is not necessarily for me. VBS is not necessarily for you. You and I might get some things out of it. I hope that you do. I hope that you grow in your leadership and I hope that you grow in your service opportunities. The VBS is ultimately for the 300 participants. And so make sure that they're safe, that they're having fun, that they're participating, that they know that Jesus loves them. And make sure that this is not the time that you're just to hang out with your buddies and your friends. You're here to be a volunteer, and I appreciate that very much. And I tried my best to put you in areas where you would be with other people you know, some of your friends who are going to be helping at VBS. Please don't abuse that that opportunity by just hanging out with your friends and not doing your volunteer job. We need you at VBS, and so we put you in the roles that we need. And so please follow through with that. There are times when a leader's instructions might come up that are a little bit different than others. I remember last year we were outside and there was some weather issues. And so we had to all of a sudden shift gears really fast. And so if that's the case, or if there's something that's going on, we just have to figure out something different. Adult leaders, when they throw out some instructions, please do your best to help follow them, as well as making sure that your crews or the people that you're working with are also helping out and being followed. Ask for help. If you don't know what to do, don't hesitate to ask for help. There are other volunteers that might know. I was looking through the list of some of you. Some of you have been at VBS as a volunteer for like 6 or 7 years. Some of the youth, which is amazing. Some even more than that. So there are some people that are around you, your age, as well as adults who are helping, that might have a great idea on what to do in a situation that you're not sure about. Use their expertise, use their help, and help each other out. A big piece of our success during VBS week is the timing. We start devotions at 8:30, and I would hope that all the volunteers are there, except if you're a station leader and you're putting last minute things together and you're just unable to make it. But probably one of my favorite 15-minute blocks of the day is our 15 minutes together before we get started. I'm just going through announcements in the morning, sharing a little bit of a devotion on the theme for the day, and just connecting with each of you is one of my favorite times. So please don't be late for that. I would suggest that you show up by 8:20 to make sure that your area is ready to go, and that that you're sitting there ready to go for devotions at 8:30 in the sanctuary. Our openings and closings this year, as well as devotions, are all in the sanctuary. So that's going to be awesome because we don't have to worry about the weather inside and or sweating to death, bugs, however that might be. You will have a little less space. For those of you that have remember that, it's a little bit more cramped. So that's why it's good to get there and make sure everything's set up, ready to go. Also, at the end of VBS morning, please make sure you just don't take off. Make sure that the kids that you're responsible for, or the area that you might be working and serving in, you've checked in with your adult leaders or your adult crew directors to make sure that everything's good, the kids are picked up before you leave, and everything's ready for the next day. When it comes to what you wear during VBS week, each of you will get the Monumental shirt. The leader shirts are kind of this brownish drab color. Think wilderness guide color. It's not super flashy like past years, but it still sets us apart as the somebody who's not working with a specific color group. And so everybody will have a t-shirt, and so please don't alter your t-shirts, don't cut the sleeves off, don't tie them all up, all that kind of stuff. Wear them as unaltered t-shirts, please. You can change them after VBS however you want. You are role models, there's no question about it. The kids will look up to you. And so if you've got your shirt all cut and bedazzled and tied up and you think it looks great, but others might not, the kids are going to follow what you do, and then all of a sudden by the end of the week everything is kind of all crazy, and sometimes it could be appropriate, sometimes it couldn't be, but I know that an unaltered shirt is an appropriate thing to wear. So please don't change it. Same too with shorts. Make sure that you're comfortable, but don't have any words or graphics on them that might be offensive. Obviously, I have athletic shorts that have Nike stuff on them or Adidas or whatever it is. It's fine. That's totally cool. But if you've got, I don't know, Budweiser shorts, don't wear them. Okay. Same with your shoes. Make sure your shoes are comfortable. I would suggest tennis shoes or stuff with straps on them if you have sandals, but something comfortable that you can run around in, and such. So, okay, that's your fashion. Phones, if you've been a part of VBS, you know the rule, no phones at VBS. It's going to be super tempting because we jump to our phones for anything. I'm trying to figure, what was that one guy's name who's in that one? Let me look it up. No, save it till after VBS. Go back to VBS, what's going on, stay off your phones during VBS. Don't let them be a distraction. Because people have done this to you, when you're in a conversation with somebody and they pull out their phone, all of a sudden you are not the most important thing. You're not. They're looking at their phone and not at you. They're not conversing with you. They're now distracted. And so the last thing we want is for you to be distracted, or even if you think you can multitask, the appearance that it gives for a kid to think that you're not focusing on them and you're focusing on something that's more important than them when you're there for them is not cool. So please don't have your phones out. Don't be on your phones. Don't let them be a distraction. If you just know you've got a problem with phone addiction, you can leave your phone in the office. You can drop it in an envelope. We'll keep it, put it there. It will stay there. It will not get stolen or damaged, I promise. And you can have it back at the end of the day. If you need to do that, do that. Also, please let your parents know they can call the office number. I will send this document out to you so you'll have that number. We know where everybody's at throughout the day. We have a list of where all the volunteers are. So if your parents call that office, I'm pretty sure we can get you within about a 2-minute period of time if there is an emergency. We used to live without cell phones, believe it or not, when I was growing up, and we survived. And I know you can do it too for a few hours at VBS. All right. Only exception might be at the end of the day to use your phone as a camera to take a picture with your group before you leave, because sometimes that's how we keep memories through our phones. So I do allow that. Please honor that, respect that, and don't do it other times. Okay. Helpful hints and guidelines, just a few things to keep in mind. Remember that each child means the world to someone. Be Jesus with skin on to each child. There are going to be some kids that you get to work with at VBS that are just not your favorite kids. It's just the way it is. You might actually be in a crew with some other volunteers and they just might not be your favorite people. And that doesn't mean that we don't treat them with respect. We still do. We love them. We care for them. And remember that they mean the world to somebody else, even though they might not mean the world to you. And so we want to make sure that they're loved, honored, respected. And make sure that you're not that person that you're working with that is just like, oh, I can't believe I have to work with this person, right? Do your best to love and care for somebody else, the other people that you're working with, because we just want to make sure everybody feels that love and care that Jesus gives to us unconditionally. Don't misuse the sensitive information provided for your participants. Some of you will receive printouts for some of the kids that are participating, and it has allergy information and some medical concerns that you need to be aware of as a leader in case something happens. Please be respectful of that. That's information that's not to be thrown around or shared around or left in papers just sitting around. So please respect that information you are trusted with. Do your best to greet the kids by name with enthusiasm each day and kindness. Some of you I know, some of you I know really well and can call you by name. Others of you I might just be meeting for the first time this year, and I'll try to get to know your name. We all wear name tags, which is really helpful. But greet people by name, because that's a pretty awesome thing to do, and it just helps them feel loved and cared for. Communicate expectations with love. Use positive reinforcement. So how you have you share with the participants, hey, we're going to go over here, we're going here now, we're going to do this now. Hey, make sure when we're working together that you treat others with respect, that we keep our hands to ourselves. Try to do all that kind of stuff with love and positive reinforcement. Encourage kids to be happy and thankful for all that they do and receive. The gratitude aspect. When we're thankful for the things that we have in front of us, it's hard for us to complain about it. So help them to be aware of that. And also, you need to be aware of any kids that are kind of being left out or lonely. We don't want that to happen. So you might have to go out of your way. You might need to work extra hard with some of the kids to help bring them into the group or introduce them or find connections between kids who don't know each other very well. Oh, you like this team? Oh, they like this team. Oh, you like this sport, this movie, this show, whatever it is. Maybe to help them connect with some other people. Our language and how we speak is important. Some of you probably have some language that you use that you know would not be appropriate for younger kids. And honestly, it's probably not appropriate for you either, but you still use it because for whatever reason. Especially at VBS, try not to use language that would be offensive. There are some words that I say maybe that I would say with youth kids, like I might say crap with you guys because like, oh crap, I can't believe that happened. When I'm around the little kids, I try not to use that word because some parents don't want their kids running around saying that word. So think about what those words are. Think about how you speak to each other, and use language that would be fitting for a Christian leader, right? Please don't use inappropriate language. Another one that's really big for me that some of you probably don't even think about is using God's name in vain. That actually bugs me more than many four-letter words. When we use God's name in ways that we're calling on him, we're saying his name, and you're just saying it flippantly, and yet God responds. He promises to respond to us when we call on him. And yet we just kind of use, oh God, right? Like we're not even talking to him and he's there. Yes. What can I do for you? You have called my name. I promise to be here for you. And you're just ignoring him. I find that to be one of the rudest things we could do. So please, in your effort to watch what you're saying and how you speak, not just at VBS, but I want to challenge you to think about how you use God's name. Let's not use that in inappropriate ways. Let's use it in the ways that God gives it to us, right? And sometimes our adults struggle with that too because our society just doesn't care about that. So that's a challenge to everybody. When it comes to the attention for the kids, make sure that they're receiving your first attention. It's not your phone, it's not your buddies, right? And that they're getting your first fruits. The snacks that are provided each day. Our snack team is going to be providing 300 snacks. There are 300 participants. There's another 200 volunteers plus. The snacks are not for the volunteers. If you're somebody that can't make it from 8:30 to 12:15 without food, bring something discreet, small, and not super enticing, like the coolest candy bar that's going to melt in your pocket or that the kids want instead of their snack. Maybe it's just a granola bar, something healthy that you can just put in your pocket. It's not going to melt. That you can pull out during snack time and just eat it off to the side. Otherwise, don't be taking the kids snacks. There's not enough for everybody. There's only enough for the participants. But if you need something, bring it that way. Okay. And please don't make a big deal of it in front of the participants. you can understand how that would be a big problem, right? It's like only bring enough for what you can share. So unless you're going to make it, if you're going to make a big deal about it, make sure you got over 500 pieces to share with everybody else. Registered volunteers, only registered volunteers are to be a part of VBS. So if you have friends that are like, oh, but they're such a great volunteer and we work together on all these things, so I just brought them to come and help with me. Please don't do that. We don't have their information. We don't have the forms filled out. We don't have the background check. We don't have the, and not official background check, but the background information on them to be able to call parents if there's an emergency, all that kind of stuff. Please don't do that. We have selected the people from the list of volunteers who have applied. If you have friends that still want to help, have them contact me or you contact me. There have been a few cancellations from people, and I'm still working out some of those details and hope to have those finalized again on Monday. But if you know some people that want to help, have them contact me. Don't just have them show up. If they just show up, I know I'm going to have to turn them away because we don't have all the information and we won't have the time to gather that information from them when we're in the midst of VBS craziness that morning. And one of the things that I love doing, and you'll notice I'll be making the biggest, craziest fool of myself dancing and singing to the songs at VBS. I encourage you to do the same because when you get into it, even though you might think it's totally silly, what's awesome is when we get together and we move and sing, we're praising God in an awesome and unique way. And it gives us the opportunity to do the same to help the kids do that too. And it's kind of neat to think about how much fun they can have when it's something that we look at and say, well, that's kind of silly, or I don't want to look like a dork. Who cares? You're not looking bigger dork than me. I guarantee it. So jump in the fun, have some crazy, be crazy, sing energetically, active with the dances, all that kind of stuff. Be a good role model. I appreciate it. That would be awesome. Okay. And have fun. We want to make sure that we're having fun throughout the week. All right, good. So that is that piece. The next piece on our agenda today is going to be our schedule for VBS. So let me share with you our schedule for how the morning will work. Again, I'm going to be sending all of this stuff to you after our meeting. But there are two major schedules for VBS. There's the schedule for the blue, red, green, and orange groups, and there's a schedule for the purple group. The purple group is made up of preschoolers and kindergartners, our youngest participants, and they're going to be in a separate rotation that will happen in 3 rooms, so they don't have to go very far when it comes to rotation and where everybody's going. And so that transition is only happens 3 times during the day, or 2 transitions, and it's right between rooms. The other groups will transition and go between other areas of the campus, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. And you can kind of see that. So we open and close in the sanctuary, 9 a.m. for everybody, all 5 color groups. And then we close again the last 20 minutes from 11:40 to 12. Parents are invited to come in and watch from the back of the sanctuary, the closing, and from the outside. And we'll also probably be live streaming our opening and closings this year, just so parents can participate in that if they want to. So there's a schedule there. We do a rotation, 5 minutes between the 4 different rotation places where we're going. And then there's also a snack in the middle of that. Same with purple. There's a snack time between the first and second rotation groups, and there's 5-minute transition time for that. Again, I'll send this out with details for you so you can see that in when you want to explore that and know that schedule more specifically. How that looks on our campus with the map is kind of like this. All right, so here's St. Paul campus. When you come in, here's the drive-through overhang, just so you're kind of with us. The openings and closings happen here in the sanctuary. Now, it's kind of hard to see on this map. I have a bigger one, but you can kind of see the purple group is going to be as you walk in. There's going to be a big arch rock that you walk through, and the purple group will head to the front left. Green will be on the left, red will be on the right, blue will be in the middle, orange will be in the front right. And so as you move into the spaces to set up your area, there'll be tape on the floor where you can set up your area if you're a crew leader or a preschool crew leader or assistant crew leader, and you'll have a blanket or mat that you bring. So prepare that between your crew leader or assistant crew leader. I'll tell you how we can do that more next week, but I'll give you some more information on that as we go today. And so that's where we go to start with. And then our first rotation looks like this. All the purple crews are going to go down here to these 3 rooms, and they're going to rotate between these 3 rooms. Blue will stay. Green will go out this side door here to the games area in the field. Red and orange will also depart out and go to Imagination Station back in 201, 202. And then the 3 Bible story areas. The 3 Bible story areas are the only place where you separate with the other people in your color. I believe how it goes with Bible story A, that will be crews 1, 2, 3, and 4 of your color. 5, 6, 7, 8 will be in B. 9, 10, 11, and 12 will be in C. And so that's the only section where we split the colors up into 3 smaller groups. Everywhere else, you stay in one big group. So that's the first rotation. And then you can see the second rotation. Basically, we move in a counterclockwise format around the campus. If you were in the sanctuary, you go out to games. If you're at games, you go to the Imagination Station, Bible story to opening, closing. Purple just changes between those 3 rooms just to kind of keep it easy for our younger ones. And then the third station, this is right between the second station and the third station is where snacks happen. So those coming in from games blue will have snacks probably either inside or right outside Imagination Station. And there'll be stations outside for all of that right after the second rotation. It'll make sense when you see it. And then our fourth rotation. So our green crews will end up being in the sanctuary for the closing, and they'll just stay there, which is kind of nice. They can just move right to their areas and be there, and then they'll be back, everybody together in the sanctuary for the closing at the end of the day. Pick up and drop off for all participants happens in the sanctuary. Okay, next on our list now, maps. Okay, good deal. We're right on time. I just want to review a couple big pieces then that we've kind of talked about already, and then we'll go to some questions and answers that you might have. So a couple big pieces that you need to remember. Language, don't use God's name in vain. Please watch how that goes. And I would suggest starting to catch yourself already in the next week or so. If that's a habit that you have, try to make that not a habit. Don't change your VBS shirt. You're here to make sure the participants are loved and cared for. If you need help, ask for help. I'm reminding myself the same thing because I sometimes forget that. Don't give rides to people at VBS. No phones at VBS. Please don't be late for devotions. Devotions start at 8:30. Awesome. Okay, the last thing I want to share with all of you is this. Your VBS shirts are packed and ready to go. They put them all together yesterday, which is awesome. Thanks to many of you who actually helped and sorted some of those shirts yesterday. That's a big process, and so thanks for that. You can pick up your shirts starting tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Please join us for worship. If you don't have a place where you already worship, we worship at St. Paul at 8:30 and 11 o'clock, and you're always welcome to join us, you and your family. And you can pick up your shirt before or after service. So don't come necessarily right at 9 o'clock to get your shirt because we'll still be in church from 8:30 to 9:30, but you could come before 8:30 or right after the 8:30 service. They usually last about an hour. Same with the 11 o'clock, goes between 11 and noon. So you can pick up your shirt before then up until 12:30 tomorrow. You can also pick up your shirt anytime. I'll send this out in the email. You can also pick up your shirt anytime next week or have a parent pick them up. 9 o'clock in the office until 2:30 in the afternoon, and you can pick that up. Or if you can't get there this week, you can always grab it next Sunday if you want. That's fine too, when we get together for our meeting that's in person. Next week, Sunday, not tomorrow Sunday, but next week, Sunday on the 12th, we'll meet in person. 12:30 to 2 o'clock is our meeting time. And how that meeting goes is like this. We'll all meet together in the sanctuary to start. We'll go over a few things for everybody. Then we'll break out for some pizza, and you can have some lunch. And then after you grab your food, you will go to your specific areas where you're serving. So if you're in the games area, you're going to connect with Jordan, and he's going to go over all the details that are specific to what you're going to be doing in the games area. If you're in helping with Imagination Station in 21202 with Haiti, she's going to show you all the stuff that she needs your help with during that week, right? If you're helping in the purple areas, as you know, with like Melinda is teaching in the purple areas, or the station leaders, or the Bible stories, wherever that's going to be, or if you're in the snacks, you're going to meet with your adult leader, and they're going to go over the specifics for everything that you need and that they need help with for you during the VBS week. If you're going to one of the crews, so you're a crew leader, assistant crew leader, preschool crew leader, or assistant preschool leader, or crew director, you're going to meet with me in the sanctuary. We'll go through all the specifics of the crew leader roles, and you'll get a chance to meet your other crew directors, crew leaders, assistant crew leaders, and all that in person next week in the sanctuary. Then when your person is your area leader, your adult leader is done giving you all the information they need and connecting with you, you're free to go, or you're invited to help stay as long as you want, because there's going to be people setting up and decorating rooms and planning and preparing things. And so if you can stay for a little longer than 2 o'clock, by all means. I probably won't go home till about 7 myself. Usually when I get out of there, the day before VBS is about 7 o'clock. I average 7 o'clock. So you can stay and help out as long as you want, as long as your schedule allows. If you want to, and you're there for extra hours, I'll be happy to write extra volunteer hours for you. That's my pleasure to do that. And so however that works, I know one of the big things that we got to do this year that we haven't had to do is we're going to move all the pews in the sanctuary again, because we want that open floor. So right after our meeting, we'll move all those pews and stack all the pews up in the back of the sanctuary so that we can set up everything for VBS. So there's a lot of different things that happen after the meeting next week. If you have to leave, you'll be done by 2. But if you want to stay, you can stay as long as I'm there and help out with whatever is going on. Okay, so that's kind of an overview of happening between now and then. Let me look through here for questions that you might have had that I might not have answered. All right, so preschool station helpers follow and help the preschool leaders. So there are 2 different, there are a couple different preschool helpers. So there's preschool station helpers, and the preschool station helpers will work with the 3 preschool area teachers. And so that will be, the area where they do KidVid for the purple, where they do the Bible stories for purple, and they do the activities, imagination station stuff, crafts for purple. And so the preschool station helpers, you'll get to meet with those 3 teachers next Sunday, and they'll kind of say, all right, who wants to go where? Because there's probably about 10 volunteers that get to be split up between those 3 rooms, and they'll kind of work that out. I will also give, so I know I see Cheryl and Melinda right in front of me. And so I'll give you your list of preschool station helpers. So you might even ahead of time pick who you're going to have helping with you in your area. And some teachers have said, oh yeah, I need this person and that person there. So make sure you let me know. So yeah, the preschool, the purple station, I'm going to try and call, instead of preschool, I'm going to try and call it purple station helpers. Just because we do have kindergartners and preschoolers in there this year. Just so that, and the kindergartners are coming from preschool, so they're used to being called preschool. They're not going to care, but just so that we have that, I'm going to try and call it purple. So I think that answers that question. So you'll follow those leaders between those 3 rooms, or you'll stay in that one room to help out throughout the morning. We're usually giving information on kids in a packet, allergies, and yes. So you'll receive from me in an email a couple different things. Today you're going to get just the pages that I went through today, but on Monday I'm going to send out to you a list of all of the other volunteers. So if you're a crew leader, you're going to get email and phone number for your assistant crew leader. So if you want to connect with them next week and ahead of time, you can. Same with the crew directors. If the crew directors want to reach out to the kids that are the crew leaders in their area, you're going to get all that information. You'll also get information next week that has who the kids are in your group. Some of those changed already even yesterday. So I've been trying to keep flexible on that. And I didn't want to send all that out too soon, so that I'm sending out revisions to everybody every 5 minutes type of thing. But Monday, I'm hoping to have everything nailed down. And so then I will send that out to you. So you'll have who are the 5 kids in your group. So you can be praying for them. You can look and see what kind of allergies they might have that you need to be avoiding, that kind of a thing. That way you can also ask me questions on Sunday. You can be prepared for that. Yeah, I would expect that each of you, especially crew leaders and assistant crew leaders, that you might have a backpack or a bag that you carry around to help put stuff in. Your phones can be tucked away like that. My phone fits in my pocket and doesn't come out, and it's cool. That's fine. But if it's going to be there as a distraction for you, maybe your backpack's a better place, or if it's still a distraction for you, the office is a good place to put it. But yes, you can have it on your person, but I would suggest turning all things off so it's not constantly vibrating, beeping, all that kind of stuff, so that it's not a distraction. And for the most part, it hasn't been an issue. There are times when we see people on their phones and I don't appreciate it. Don't make me play the bad guy. I hate that role. Cell phone or VBS. Oh my gosh, not my favorite thing in the world. So please, please, please don't do that. I want to have fun with you guys. I don't want to be a police officer all week. So yeah. This recording and all of the papers I'll send in the emails that I've been sending out. If you haven't been getting emails from me, let me know, but also check your spam and spam folders. If you're like, oh, my friend keeps getting information for VBS, but I don't get it. Chances are it's going to your spam folder, because I'm sending out mass emails, like 500 at a time, and sometimes your email server flags that as spam. So check your spam folders or your junk folders, or add my email address to your preferred contacts. That might help it get through. But I'll email out the link to this recording to everybody after we're done. Are we allowed to bring our phones but not use them? Yeah, so I addressed that already. If you have a sibling and see him or her crying, but she's in a different group or color, can you, I guess, help them? Great question. So if you see somebody you know that's not having a good time and they're not getting attention, or the help that they need, whether they're your sibling or not, make sure. So I see Don's right in front of me. So I'm gonna say Don's my crew director, and we're moving from one place to another, and I see somebody else who's in another color. I'm gonna check with my crew directors. Hey, Don, there's a child over there. Can I go help them, or is it okay if we find somebody that can go help them? That way the crew director is alerted, because Don might go, oh, I know that person is in somebody else's crew, and he might be able to just say, make sure they get the help they need. That way you're not being taken from your job to go help. Or Don might see that your crew is doing well right now, and it's like, yeah, just go help them, and I'll go find out who needs to help them, right? So always check with your crew director on something like that. If there isn't a crew director around, somebody's hurting, go help them, make sure that your crew's being cared for. That's why we always pair everybody up. So every crew has a crew leader and an assistant crew leader. So don't just go wandering away from your crew. You would say to your assistant crew leader, hey, can you watch the crew for a little, make sure that they know they're in charge, and then go help them out. But you don't want to be doing that all day. So if you do have a sibling that's having some problems, hopefully the person who is responsible for them knows and understands, and they can be that person for them, or we can get a special buddy for them, so that you're not being taken from your role to help. Yeah, you're allowed to wear sneakers. That'd be great. Tennis shoes, sneakers, closed-toed shoes are awesome. What do we do if somebody's allergic to grass? Okay, for sure, then obviously we don't want them to be playing in the grass. There are a few kids who are going to have allergies such as that. There might be a few kids who have allergies, and maybe some of you, where we need to even have an EpiPen because of the need for the allergy is severe. And we'll have those things ready in the office and such. So yeah, if there's somebody who's allergic to grass, we'll make sure, and they'll remind us too, that the games in the grass are not going to work. And so they're just going to have to sit out at that point, or that might be a great opportunity for you to think through, if you're the leader of somebody who has to sit out, what are some great conversation pieces, some things that you're going to ask the kids about to learn more about them, to hang out with them so that they feel special, not just sitting on the sidelines. Okay, so kind of be thinking about that if you're going to be a crew leader. If you Crocs, yeah, if you got Crocs in sport mode, maybe that might work out all right. When I wear Crocs, I mean, I have them around when I do yard work and they stay on my feet. That's fine. Just, be mindful of that. I'm okay with that. What I don't want you to have on your feet is something that's going to be falling off or causing you to trip or to hurt yourself. Okay, so if you can manage that in Crocs, I'm cool with that. Yeah, again, any of the allergies, you'll have to look at those allergies and see what we got, and we'll manage those. So again, if like a bug spray, we're not spraying kids with bug spray, so we'll be okay. There might be some food allergies, but we're not having those kinds of foods. They'll be okay. If you want to bring bug spray, fine. If you want to bring like a little travel thing of sunscreen, not a bad idea either, because the sun can be intense. You'll be outside for about 25 minutes during the recreation time, things like that. Yeah, good stuff. So what we'll do with the snacks and foods and allergies is a great question. Karen, you can see Karen, she's our snack coordinator for the week. And so she's going to send me kind of the final list of snack stuff, so that this week I'll send out to the parents what we're going to be having each day. And so the parents will have the permission, if there's an allergy, to send a special snack with their kids if they can't have it. That's the only exception that we kind of offer the parents. I don't want parents just sending snacks. Oh, my kid's not going to like this snack, I'm sending something else, because that's going to be a big problem. But for the kids who have allergies to something that we might be serving, the parents are invited to send an alternative snack along, so that you'll have that. All right, good. What time do we arrive for VBS? Please be ready to go for devotions at 8:30. 8:30. So that will be in the paperwork that I hand out. So if you can be there at 8:20, if you need to get stuff ready, that would be a smart thing to do. So you're ready to go for devotions at 8:30. We only have 15 minutes for devotions. And so we can't waste that time together, because the doors open at 8:45, and that is when the madness starts. at 8:45. It's fun. Okay, cool. I think that is all the questions that I see here. You might have many more questions as the week goes on. You have my email because I've been sending you tons of emails. Please feel free to write me back and I will get back to you with answers to those things. Many of you have my cell phone number too. You feel free to text or call me if need be, and make myself available to try and figure out what other questions you might have and answer them. I am thankful for all of you. Looking forward to our week together. The craziness that is VBS is one of my favorite weeks, and it can't happen without all of you. So I'm thankful for that and appreciate that. So with all that, we will see you tomorrow or next week as you pick up shirts. If not before then, we will see you at our all group meeting to plan and prepare our last minute stuff on the 12th at 12:30. You are all welcome to come and worship with us that day if you would like, and we'll go from there. I saw one more question. So when the kids arrive, will we stay at our blankets or go find the kids with the same color as us? All right, so next week, when we talk through some of the more specifics of our crew leaders and crew directors and assistant crew leaders as they come in and exchange and pick up kids, we'll talk a little bit more about those specifics. But yeah, you'll have the parents will know to come find you, and you'll have signs that you kind of make or hold up that will say, "Hey, I'm part of Purple 6," and you'll hold up Purple 6 sign, and the parents will come find you. So you'll stay there and hang with your kids as they go. Where do the station helpers go with the group? So if you're a station helper, you're going to help out that station leader. So the adult leader will tell you where to go, and you'll have a specific room that you get to work in, and you'll find that out next week as we gather together. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you very much. If you have a friend or a buddy who wasn't on this call today or didn't hear about it because their emails are going to spam, please let them know. Forward on the information that I'm sending to them to make sure that they have it. And like I said, you'll get a whole bunch of more information from me on Monday regarding the other volunteers and the people that you get to work with directly. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next week, if not sooner.